MP, I never missed an opportunity whenever I could to come out and meet with groups of Forum for Young Canadian Kids, because what you're doing this week, your discovery of Ottawa, of your government, of your connection to this place, and how you can stay connected from all across the country and feel part of what it is we're doing here is really, really important. Ce que vous faites en visitant, en participant, en apprenant à quel point vous êtes important dans le processus politique est essentiel, pas juste pour le bon fonctionnement du Parlement dans l'avenir, mais pour le bon fonctionnement du Parlement maintenant. Votre implication, les questions que vous allez ramener dans vos communautés, votre implication auprès des partis politiques, si vous êtes intéressé à ça, ça va vous amener à être des citoyens plus informés et surtout plus actifs. Active, engaged citizenship is at the heart of what 21st century democracy is going to require. And that means, yes, understanding that each of our individual voices are really important in terms of how we step up, how we challenge the status quo, how we ask questions about why is it like this, why is it not like that, and demand better every single day from those people who have been elected to serve you, to serve your communities, to serve your country. And that level of engagement is really important in terms of action. But it's also really important that you be informed, that you understand the processes going on, and that you take an interest in actually what is happening. And I know that you are here not just because you wanted to visit Ottawa during the snowstorm of the century, but because you have a genuine interest, maybe in government, but at the very least in how we create better communities, how we build a better future for us all, and most importantly, what your role can be in shaping that better future. What are the things? Interested, engaged citizens like yourselves are likely to hear from time to time is that you're all the leaders of tomorrow. I really hope nobody laid that trip on you this week, because I don't want you guys to think yourselves as leaders of tomorrow. You're not leaders of tomorrow. Just by being here, by being active in your communities, by taking an interest, you're already showing that you're leaders today. And quite frankly, we need you to be leaders today. We need you to be leaders.
Oh my gosh.
I just want to take a couple of questions that you may have on this. My first question I'll figure out, whoever can answer this question, we'll see if you were listening. It gets the first question. So if you have a question and you think you know the answer to this question, raise your hand. The question is, what number Prime Minister am I?
What did he say?
Yes. No. Not the 24th Prime Minister. Yes.
23rd.
23rd Prime Minister. Okay. What number Parliament is this? Yes, you. Yeah. 42nd. There we go. So I'm the 23rd Prime Minister of the 42nd Parliament. So you got the first question. Go ahead.
Mr. Trudeau, Andrew Potter from Hamilton, Ontario. You're the first Prime Minister to take the youth portfolio and take that on as a challenge, and thank you very much for that. What do you want to accomplish for youth in the next 4 years and grow a better Canada for us? Thank you very much, Mr. Trudeau.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, I kept two portfolios for myself as Prime Minister. The first one was intergovernmental affairs, because how the Prime Minister actually engages with the premiers, with mayors, with Indigenous leadership across this country is going to be really, really important in how we actually solve the challenges. And in a confederation like Canada, there's a lot of finger pointing to say, oh no, it's their level of government that's responsible for that, it's your problem on this, it's your problem on that. Getting them to work together is really important. But for me, taking on the youth portfolio was the one thing that I knew I needed to do, that I knew I wanted to do. And it's not so much just about making sure that youth issues are highlighted in this government across all departments and ministries. It's also an understanding that if we are truly going to build a better future, we need young voices to be heard. We need you to be empowered to actually weigh in, to shape, to define the kind of country, the kind of future that we're going to build. And the number of great conversations I've had with young people across the country over the years, when politicians across the country were telling me, why do you waste your time with young people? They don't vote. Well, the problem why young people didn't vote until this past election in large percentages was because you were stuck in a bit of a vicious cycle where politicians didn't have anything particularly interesting or pertinent to say to young people about the big issues, the long-term concerns that young people share, and therefore young people weren't that interested in what politics had to say to them, therefore were demotivated to vote, and therefore politicians were even less motivated to reach out. And what we needed to do was break that cycle. And we did it a little bit during the election by drawing in young people and being open about the kind of change and the kind of engaged, transparent government we wanted to run. But at the same time, it's what we're going to make sure that we're doing. As youth minister, I'm going to be able to hold every day the Prime Minister to account to make sure that he's doing right by the youth portfolio.
Hi, I'm Stella from Calgary, Alberta, and I honestly was just wondering, how does it feel to be Prime Minister?
Well, you know, I spent my life son of a Prime Minister. And I know a lot of you here, because you're engaging in great opportunities and you're going to good schools, a lot of you have parents who were very successful. And you know what it's like to have uncles and cousins and friends of the family say, oh, are you going to be a successful insert profession here, like your parents? What do you want to do with your life? And I understood growing up what it was to have had two very successful parents in their ways, and to work very hard to try and figure out who I was and what I was. And when I was younger, when we lost my brother in a tragic skiing accident in the late 90s, I got involved with avalanche awareness, and I discovered that just being my father's son and of that family allowed me to call a press conference and talk about the important issues surrounding winter safety in sports, and everyone would listen. And that was really good because I tried to do good with it, and I was using the family name and the family authority to push an important cause. But I also understood that it wasn't really because of me that the media, the newspapers, and people were paying attention to me. It was because of my connection to the successful family. And then, when I got elected for the first time in Papineau in 2008, I had to work so hard to earn people's trust in arriving that nobody thought I'd win even the Liberal nomination to, let alone the election. And the election was very tough for Liberals, especially in Quebec. I managed to knock off the Bloc Québécois incumbent and demonstrate that I was bringing something myself into politics in an area that, there are some neighborhoods in which my father's name helped me. There were lots of other neighborhoods in my riding where my father's name didn't help me at all. And therefore, for that first time, I felt like I had acquired my own legitimacy. I was the choice of a whole bunch of people in my riding who worked very, very hard, who I worked very, very hard to earn that trust. And every step of the way, I've been able to feel like I have earned it. Now, because of my last name, because of who I am, there'll be lots of people out there who will always believe that the only reason that I'm standing here as Prime Minister is because Canadians are fools and they got bamboozled by a good head of hair and a strong last name. But I'll be honest with you, the one thing that was so important to me about having the youth file for so many years was that when I show up with a group to talk with a group of young people, they remembered, or their parents remembered my father, but there was no visceral connection. And if I was successful, as I have been, at connecting with young people across the country, it was because not because of my father. So, growing up, I learned that I had to brush aside the criticisms based on my last name of people who didn't like me for reasons completely unrelated to me, and that developed a certain thick skin that I have needed to have as a politician. But on the other side, I also had to dismiss those people who loved my dad so much that they were automatically going to love me, and I had to make sure that I didn't automatically believe that I was indeed the best thing since sliced bread because a whole bunch of people like my dad so much. So I learned very early to have a very strong sense of where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, how to build on my strengths, and how to surround myself with great people who will allow for my weaknesses and compensate for the weaknesses that we all have. And figuring that out was key to becoming Prime Minister. And now that I'm here, I'm doing things that I'm good at, my way, for all the right reasons, because I spent so much time listening to people across the country and thinking about what kind of country we wanted to build. So it feels pretty good to